My name is Richard Johnson. I reported to the Naval Training Center on August 1st, 1971. I was here until October of 1973. It was during the Vietnam War, and I was here as a dentist. I was a lieutenant in the dental corps. When I reported, my first impression of the Naval Training Center was that it was such a unique place to go, because I had come from the University of Arizona, which was a land-grant college, and it was very spacious, a lot of grass, but it didn't have the ambiance that the Naval Training Center did. And all those federally funded land-grant colleges back then in each state were beautiful, spacious grass and low buildings, so it seemed like big skies. But when you came to NTC, it was that on steroids. It was just a unique experience to walk in here. So I walked in on August 1st, 1971, and I reported to a desk. Sat there and did dentistry for a few weeks before the captain came over and said, maybe you should get a uniform. I said, okay. So I said, where do I do that? So he sent me over somewhere. I got a uniform. So our mission was to get everybody into the fleet, into Vietnam, without any dental emergencies. We also had to take care of a lot of the retired people that were here. But the real mission was to get the kids that had infected wisdom teeth or bad cavities fixed up, so when they reported, we didn't have to fly out there and get an airplane and bring them back from the fleet. So I sat down, I did dentistry for 2.5 years. In the military, you start at 7 in the morning, which is in the middle of the marine layer, so it's kind of foggy and overcast and gray. And then you break out at lunch, and this whole campus was bright and muted yellow with the low architecture and the Spanish stucco buildings with all the porticos and the covered sidewalks, and big grassy spots in between buildings. It had a very spacious feeling, but it was very organized. It was truly like walking into a television city, It was a very fun place to be. So this was kind of a send-off for the fleet, where they'd made it through basic training, and they had been molded into adults, and now they're an adult in a setting that was much like a college campus. But the feeling was kind of a cross between a military academy, a California mission because of the architecture and the stucco and the Spanish motifs. Part of the ambiance of Liberty Station was we had a very amiable, friendly, omnipresent athletic director who you'd see him outside walking the sidewalks all the time. He'd go to the individual units, the individual schools, the individual clinics, the individual administration buildings, and would encourage people to participate in all the athletics. They had a myriad of athletic activities. We had 3-man basketball, 5-man basketball, flag football, rowing. It was before Title IX, so there wasn't a lot for the ladies. But for the men, it was tennis tournaments, golf tournaments. So I participated I was very active in the tennis tournaments. We used to play, we had a little team, we'd play all the colleges and universities. My most disappointing day in the Navy was when the day I was supposed to go to the inter-service tennis matches in Pensacola, Florida to play against the Army in the All-Navy tournament. My wife calls me while I'm drilling on a tooth and says, honey, I'm in labor. So unfortunately I had to leave that poor recruit with an open tooth, calling the commander, which he wasn't real fond of, and he had to come in and fill that tooth. That kid probably still has a temporary in there, I don't know. But my son was born that day. So I don't mean to diminish the importance of what our mission was, because we worked very hard, and then we had a lot of recruits to take care of to get them out into the fleet, and we did a lot of dentistry. But my memories are all of a very pleasant athletic social life afterwards, because the venue was so well constructed that it felt like a little Mayberry, which was a good send-off for the kids into all the schools, because they went from basic training to their school where they learned their trade, and now they're off to Vietnam or the fleet. to do their duty. NTC is not just a shopping location or a military location. It's a place you walk into that you've never walked into before because it has an ambiance of friendliness, warmth, blue sky, and I still get the tingle. Troy had an event right over here in this parking lot last year, and when I looked at this building, it just brought back the old, wow, that was a great time.